No DQ Galaxy, we are live with a recap of Monday Night Raw for Monday, September 12th, 2022. First Raw up against football for the season. Also, we had the Emmy Awards. How does Better Call Saul not win anything? What a shame. Anyways, we're here to talk about some wrestling. Real quick, Keith Johnson sent in a $2 super chat on Friday during the SmackDown stream. I missed it, so I did want to answer that. He says, what do you think of Braun Strowman's look with the red pants? I'm not sure what he was thinking with that one. He needs to ditch the red pants pronto. I was not a fan of it. Anyways, let's get to Raw. How about a shout out to all of the early birds? TJS, Tic Tat Tat, Calvin Bowman, Randy, CC Drink, The Torvik 23, Daniel, Peter, Fizzy Fuzz, Darren G, Sam Littleton, Darren. Thank you all for tuning in early. I appreciate it. We had the usual intro and pyro for Monday Night Raw. We had Seth freaking Rollins come to the ring for a promo. He bragged about beating Matt Riddle, talked about how 60,000 plus people were singing his song at Clash at the Castle. He said he's not interested in a rematch with Matt Riddle. He already beat him. Crowd was chanting rematch, but he said that it has been too long since he has held gold in WWE, and that led to Riddle showing up. Riddle said, bro, they got in a big fight. Rollins went into the crowd. Riddle followed him. Rollins ran to the back, and then Judgment Day showed up, and they offered Riddle a spot in the Judgment Day. Riddle said his focus is still on Seth freaking Rollins, so the answer was no. And then Finn Balor said that since the laws are a little more relaxed in Portland, Oregon, where Raw was, maybe Riddle's brain is clouded. He said that Riddle will stand with them or stand in their way. Riddle responded by attacking them. He made his decision very clear. And that led to our first match of the evening. Matt Riddle, he is Matt again, versus Finn Balor. Damian Priest was out there interfering. He would shield Balor from getting kicked by Riddle. And Balor took control for a while. But when Riddle made his comeback, you had Priest once again interfering, getting on the apron. And then Rey Mysterio jumped Damian Priest to even the odds, sent him over the barricade. Finn Balor went for the coup de grace but missed. Riddle hit the draping DDT, and then Seth Rollins got on the apron. Balor took advantage again. This time, he hit the coup de grace, got the 1-2-3 victory. So all of the outside interference led to Riddle taking the L in this one. And then afterwards, Riddle was hit by Rollins with the curb stomp once again. Rollins kept yelling, "It's over, time to move on." But of course, I think we are going to be getting this match at Extreme Rules. Keep in mind, still about 4 weeks away. So, good opening match here. The usual outside interference shenanigans. Kind of a stupid babyface for Riddle, turning his attention away from his opponent. Dr. Dakota Scorpio jumping ahead here a little bit with a $5 super chat says, Kevin Dunn must have chewed through the feed, so I was happy I did not see an Omos match or anything for a bit here in Canada. We will get to that in just a few moments, but thank you for the super chat. I appreciate it. A rare technical issue on WWE Raw, or was it? We'll get to that in just a little bit, so stay tuned. We had Dominik Mysterio in a backstage video promo segment, and basically he said he's only been known as Rey's son. For the first time, he is his own person. Edge got what he deserved, and Dominik said, for a tiny man, Rey casts a very large shadow, and now Dominik is no longer living under the shadow. Rhea Ripley showed up and whispered something to him, I guess to motivate him or whatever. We had a Johnny Gargano video package, and then Austin Theory was interviewed backstage, said he was not going to be Gargano's opponent, and then introduced Chad Gable to be the opponent for Johnny Gargano. And you had Gable saying that Gargano will be known as Johnny Shoosh instead of Johnny Wrestling. We had our women's tag team title match. Raquel and Aaliyah going up against Damage Control, Io Sky, and Dakota Kai. Walter Cruz sent in a $2 super chat. Thank you, Walter. Says, say yes to no DQ. Hashtag stick to my shtick. Raw was judged. There you go. That's from Walter. Thank you, Walter. And we had this women's tag team title match. Champs were doing pretty well in the early going. Raquel sent Aaliyah over the top onto Damage Control. But then Dakota Kai, with a little bit of shenanigans, grabbing Aaliyah's foot from the outside of the ring. They worked over Aaliyah for quite a bit. And then Aaliyah was able to counter a double suplex attempt into a double neck breaker. She tagged in Raquel. Raquel got in some offense, but then Aaliyah tagged back in. Raquel and Io Sky went over the top. Aaliyah attempted the roll-up that got them the titles, but Dakota kicked out. And then when Aaliyah had the match won, Bayley put Dakota's foot on the rope. Raquel went after Bayley on the outside. She got hit with a moonsault by Io Sky. So again, kind of dumb baby faces keep going after the managers and the people on the outside of the ring. And that was their downfall. Dakota Kai finished off Aaliyah, pinned her to win the match. Damage Control pick up the tag team titles. And I mean, the match was fine, but I'm thinking, like, why did you even have Raquel and Aaliyah win the titles in the first place? Should have just been Damage Control, even if it's predictable. Like, I just feel this was a pointless title run. Did they literally just do it to shock people because everybody thought Damage Control was going to win? So they're like, okay, we'll have Raquel and Aaliyah win, but then they lose the titles right back. And I pretty much expected a title change here anyways, because Aaliyah and Raquel really should not have been the tag champs. Damage Control is the act that they're pushing, and they were the ones that made sense. So, yeah. New tag team champions. No real surprise here. And moving on, we had Rey Mysterio confronting his son Dominik. Rey apologized for everything, said he did not know what Dominik was going through, said that they can still fix things. Rey was begging Dominik to see the light, but Dominik would not look at Rey. And then Rey said that if Dominik goes through the match, things will never be the same with all of them. Edge is dangerous, and it's not going to be good for Dominik. But then we had Rhea Ripley appear, and she said that Edge isn't the only one that's dangerous. And yes, Rey was not listening to his poppy. We had Johnny Gargano versus Chad Gable, which was a very good match. Nice showcase for Gargano to establish him on the main roster. Great opponent. They did some mat wrestling in the early going, back and forth. And Gable took a cheap shot, right hand, to get the advantage, targeted the knee of Gargano. But then Gable went for the moonsault. He was unable to hit it. Then Gable went for a headbutt, but Gargano countered it into the Gargano escape. And then Gable countered into an ankle lock. They traded near falls. Both guys got knocked down. Crowd was chanting, "This is awesome." Gable was dumped to the outside onto Otis. Gargano hit a dive to both of them into the announce table. And then back in the ring, Gargano finished off Gable with the one final beat, picked up the win. And then afterwards, Otis attempted a sneak attack, but Gargano avoided him, gave him the crotch chop, and escaped to the outside. But then Theory, or Austin Theory, I guess he's Austin again, Austin Theory attacked Gargano from behind with the Money in the Bank briefcase and took a selfie with the Alpha Academy. Walter Cruz sent in a $2 super chat. Thank you, Walter. Says, career match at WrestleMania, Dominik versus Rey Mysterio. Dominik retires him. That very well could be the case, although I still feel like Rey has a few good years left in him. But I could see them doing that match at some point where Rey passes the torch to his son, maybe even gives him the mask. I suppose we'll see what happens. We had Austin Theory after the commercial break cutting a promo, and he called Johnny Gargano overrated, a bottom-feeding fish. Crowd was chanting what at him. He was getting annoyed. And then we had Kevin Owens interrupting, and Theory was not happy with this, not happy about all of his big moments taken away from him, being ruined. And Owens said that Theory being handpicked doesn't work anymore. And Owens said that all of Theory's accomplishments were handed to him. Owens did say that he was handed the Universal title, but that's the only thing that is similar between him and Austin Theory. Owens said that guys like Theory are a dime a dozen. Owens has seen hundreds of guys that have been like him but have fizzled out. Meanwhile, guys like Johnny Gargano and Kevin Owens, they are one in a million. They're guys that go out there that are the heart and soul of the business. And Owens said, quite frankly, he doesn't think that Theory has what it takes. And Owens said that he wants Theory to prove him wrong. Owens said that Theory needs to look in the mirror, realize he's not as good as he thinks he is, and start coming out there with passion and busting his ass and showing everybody that he can be better. Theory responded to this by just flexing his bicep and said that Kevin Owens will never be like him. Owens slapped him, and then a fight broke out. Theory tried to use the briefcase, but Owens got the best of him. Owens went for the stunner. However, Theory was able to escape. This was a great segment. Owens really killed it on the mic. My description doesn't do it justice. Definitely watch this promo segment if you missed it. Owens was absolutely fantastic. I thought he did a great job here. And really got things heated between the two of these guys, I have to say. We had Bianca Belair, the Raw Women's Champion, coming up. And she issued an open challenge, which was answered by Sonya Deville. In other words, bathroom break time. With all due respect to Sonya Deville, I mean, they booked her like enhancement talent. So you kind of knew this was just a filler match. Bianca Belair picking up a win here. Very basic match. Sonya Deville did get some heat, was trash talking, but she could not put away Bianca Belair. Bianca picked up the win with the KOD. And Darren, I don't know about the cash in or not. I mean, again, if he cashes in 7-8 months from now and they push him and he starts picking up some wins, they could rehab him. But as of right now, I just don't see a successful cash in happening. He's been booked as a complete joke. So anyways, after this match was over, Bayley came down to the ringside area and she said they are taking control of the whole division, and you had the rest of Damage Control surrounding the ring. 3-on-1 attack. Bianca tried to fight them off, but the numbers game caught up with her. However, Asuka and Alexa Bliss ran down to make the save, and then it was Bayley who was surrounded, and she got taken down by Bianca. And the good gal stood tall, and Bayley and her group fled to the outside and left. I'm thinking we'll see Bianca versus Bayley at Extreme Rules, but again, that's like 4 weeks from now, and you had to have this match with Sonya Deville over on SmackDown. Funny, Sonya Deville must have bought a plane ticket, or WWE flew her in to Portland to be the mystery opponent for Bianca Belair. Funny how those things work. Next up, we had Seth Rollins backstage calling himself the face of Monday Night Raw. Bobby Lashley confronted him. Bobby Lashley took exception to this, and a match was set up for next week, United States title, to see who the face of Raw is. And then Omos returned for the first time in like a month with MVP. Omos won in a squash match. And here's where we had the technical difficulties. By the way, it was just 2 random local guys that Omos beat up. 2-on-1 handicap match. Omos easily won. We had a technical difficulties screen pop up, and there was some audio issues. It was very brief on YouTube TV for me, but I heard people in Canada had most of the match cut out. For me, watching it, it was just the entrance, and I did get to see the match, which insert joke about the technical difficulties during an Omos match. I don't know where they're going with Omos. Like, it just feels like he's there with no real direction. He has no storyline. I guess they're just trying to keep him around as a giant. Funny how Bray Wyatt recently put Giant Killer on his profile. And I think that's why some people were wondering, was this intentional? I don't think it was, just because some people had a different graphic and some people had a longer outage. I think it was a legitimate mistake, but they could always turn this into something if it wasn't intended. Like, I feel like everybody would have had the same technical difficulty duration if it was a work. But anyways, people definitely thought, oh, is Bray Wyatt coming back? Was this a sign that he was interrupting Omos and there actually is a storyline for Omos? I don't know. And maybe that'll be what it turns into. Maybe they're trying to build up Omos for a returning Bray Wyatt. I guess we'll see. But I kind of don't care about Omos much these days. I just feel like it's time to do something else. Bring in some new people. I don't know. And backstage, Rey Mysterio was asking Edge for one more chance to talk some sense into Dominik. However, Edge said that Dominik is a man now and needs to pay for what he did. We also had a segment with The Miz in his home. Him and Maurice were getting ready for a premiere, but they were going to be interviewed. However, Miz did not want Dexter Lumis' name mentioned. Dexter Lumis has been terrorizing Miz over the past several weeks. But then, as this was all going on, we could see Dexter Lumis from outside in one of the windows. And Miz got angry at the interviewer. He cut the interview short. Him and Maurice left. They got in their car and drove off. And then we saw Dexter Lumis again, only this time he was inside the house, and he made a nice little drawing. See, I don't think he's really a stalker. He was just trying to be a nice guy. He wanted to give Miz and Maurice this nice artwork that he created. So this was fine, little entertaining segment here to continue this storyline. We then had our main event of the evening, Edge versus Dominik Mysterio. Dominik had some new music. Rhea Ripley was out there. Edge got the early advantage. Rhea Ripley was trying to motivate Dominik. She was yelling at him. And then when the referee wasn't looking, Rhea Ripley took a cheap shot, went after the leg of Edge. Dominik targeted the leg, did the three amigos, got some boos, and then Edge started to make a comeback. However, Edge was able to avoid the spear, put on a half crab. Edge escaped. Then Edge tied Dominik into the ropes, punched him, slapped him around, and he was not breaking Dominik free. He was leaving him tied up. Referee was trying to get him to stop, and then Rey Mysterio showed up. Rey got into the ring, asked Edge to stop, begged, pleaded with him, and then Damian Priest showed up, attacked Rey Mysterio, and then Finn Balor got in the ring, attacked Edge, causing a disqualification in the main event of Raw. So still we get the DQ finishes, even in the Triple H era. Rhea Ripley used the chair on Edge's leg, and then Dominik got the chair. Dominik started hitting Edge repeatedly with the chair, and then they wrapped Edge's leg in the chair. Finn Balor came off the top with the coup de grace, so they did another angle to possibly write off Edge for a bit. Who knows? So yeah, that was the end of Raw. It was a pretty good angle. Overall, I thought the show was fairly good, but I will say this, it did not blow me away or anything. I think Johnny Gargano probably had the best match of the night with Chad Gable. And then I thought that Kevin Owens did a fantastic job with his promo. Everything else was all right. A few standout moments, otherwise fairly average show by today's standards. So I'm going to give it a B-. Good show overall, but not top tier by any means. Solid. Solid is the best way I can describe it. So thank you guys very much for tuning in tonight. I really do appreciate it. If you enjoyed the video, please give it a like on YouTube and spread the word. Tell a friend about NoDQ.com. Thank you again to everybody. Take care. Enjoy your week. And remember to say yes to NoDQ.com. And I will see you all next time.